Well, there's a lot of psychological issues with obesity, losing weight, weight loss in general. And I don't even want to really joke that much about this particular subject because I do find it disturbing, the amount of misinformation. So, no funny intro today. Um, and also, I need to be able to fucking switch to the appropriate fucking intro credits, maybe. Why isn't it fucking happening? What in the fuck? See? Maybe it will be funny. Okay, that's not fucking working. Well, this was a complete clusterfuck, so let's try this again. Let's gotta do that. Yeah. There we go. That's not what I want either. So let's go to 38. There we go. Now I can run the fucking credits and intro and shit. Ah! Shut off! Stop! Motherfucker! Alright. I'm just not on the ball today. I don't know what the fuck I did wrong today. Anyways, welcome to the Patreon only live stream, which, as far as I can tell, no patrons have showed up for yet, but that's okay. I came armed with shit to talk about. Mainly from my patrons. For those of you who are watching this later and not live, I'm starting to do this thing now where I allow patrons, to ask me a question or give me a topic they would like to see me cover in either a video or a live stream type of format. And this is one such topic. So if you are one of my supporters on Patreon, you too can have a shot at making this kind of shit happen. The higher tiers definitely get these as they want. It's an as wanted type thing. I give you the opportunity to, get what you want, along with, one-on-one possible, Google Hangouts and stuff. But for now, nobody's taking advantage of that. We're just doing the patron-only live stream where I give the option for my patrons to come in. And we got L Mark here. Cool. First live show. Thank you for coming. Now, as you guys know, the way I do the live streams is I do my little spiel, and then afterwards I go to the chat and we have a little talk on whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be topic related, but it could be whatever you want to talk to me about since you got me on the horn type shit. But first, I'm going to go through my spiel. And today I wanted to talk about the psychology of motherfucking obesity and weight loss. Because I've been researching a little bit and looking into this, and the shrinks got it fucking wrong, all right? The doctors got it fucking wrong. A lot of people think that obesity is a result of your mental state. You eat because you are depressed. You eat because you have anxiety. You eat because of these things. But if you think about it from a hormonally driven standpoint, the fact that our hormones dictate our behaviors. Now, a lot of people don't like that idea. They don't like the idea that we're not in control. Yet we do things that we might not otherwise do if we were thinking about it, based on our biology. So, when you have something like dopamine and serotonin in that reward system and the addiction pathway, that can drive depression, that can drive stress, that can drive, anxiety. And none of the literature I've come across today in researching this topic had anything to say, because I just Googled it without my little knowledge bias in there. I said, what the psychology of obesity. And all I kept getting was people who are depressed, people who are anxious, people who are miserable as fuck want to eat that shit away. Nowhere did I find the fact that sugar, and this is a fact, is an addictive substance that does trigger the reward pathway, that when you overconsume it will drive you down the road to the roller coaster of depression and anxiety and stress and misery. And the further down you go and the more other addictions you bring into that, like drugs, alcohol, and, sex and all these other fucking things we do to spike that reward pathway, the more of this shit we bring in, the less we are acknowledging, the role of our biology in that, because it is our biology that is driving these behaviors, that is driving these emotional states. And, it isn't our depression that's causing us to overeat. It's what we're eating is causing the depression. It's a vicious cycle. When you eat lots of sugar and drink and do drugs and fuck your brains out and all the other things we do to spike that reward pathway, it has a, effect of creating a fucking tolerance. And when you are not just feeling normal, you will start to feel like shit. You will be depressed. You will be miserable. And a lot of people who go on keto note that your mood stabilizes. It's not fucking perfect, but it's not the roller coaster that you're used to once you get sugar and alcohol out of your life. And this is kind of new territory for me, because even when I was keto before, I still drank. I still fucked a lot. I did all kinds of that shit. But now that I've drastically reduced all of that, I've drastically reduced triggering that reward pathway, and my anxiety has come down, my stress has come down, everything is just kind of normalized. So we got to kind of think about it in those terms, that what we are eating, the things we are consuming, could be responsible for a majority, not all, but a lot of our mental health issues. And once you're obese, once you've been down this path, once you are clearly fucked metabolically, that means you've been riding the sugar gravy train and the alcohol gravy train for quite a while. That you're so far down the rabbit hole emotionally that it's hard to dig yourself out. Because your biochemistry's pretty much taking control at that point. You're always hungry. You eat for comfort. You need that reward. You need to feel better, so you eat. And you eat sugary shit. to try and feel better. And it doesn't really make you feel better. It makes you fucking feel better for like a fucking 10 minutes. And then you're back on the roller coaster. And usually that roller coaster spends a lot more time in the downside than it does on the upside. You're happy while you're eating, but a half hour later, you're probably fucking ready to eat more. And the worse it gets, the further down this fucking rabbit hole you get. And not a single psychological motherfucker that's looking into the psychology behind obesity, binge eating disorder, anorexia is even remotely concerned with the what kinds of foods you're eating and their effects on dopamine and serotonin. They're completely not looking at it. You know, I might be wrong. This is from just one day of looking into this particular thing, but I was frustrated. I'm like, you know, I was expecting to find some biochemistry or some kind of brain science on what's going on behind the scenes, but it's all just, you know, you need to manage your stress, you need to have friends and support groups and all of that shit, none of which is addressing the actual foods, which are the root cause of the emotional problems to begin with. So, you know, we just kind of got to take a step back, you know, and a lot of you are, this is old news, you know, I've kind of gone over this repeatedly now at this point, but, you know, for the odd person that's searching this particular issue out that thinks that it's their fault, that they constantly are binging and not exercising, two behaviors that are notoriously hormonally driven. When you get a lot of leptin, you want to go out and be active. When your leptin drops, or your sensitivity to it drops because of high insulin and eating all the time, you're not going to be as active. It doesn't mean you're a lazy fuck. It means your brain is saying, look, we don't need to burn any more energy. In fact, we should probably slow it down a little more. Because once it's all out of whack, you're constantly in storage mode. You know, the more sugar you're taking in, the more out of whack your hormonal balancing system, your apostat, the thing that keeps you going out and raises your metabolism when you have a lot of energy and lowers it when you don't. That system is completely fucked at this point in a lot of people. But we blame them. We blame their fucking emotional state. We blame their circumstances. When I would contend that, yes, that does play a role, and I'm not pinning all of mental health on diet, but I do think the reason we've seen the trend in mental health decline over the past 40 years correlates almost directly with our increase in intake of sugar, particularly fructose. It's, you know, plain as day. You look at the stats at how fucked we are. How many people are on mental health fucking medicines now? How many people are on fucking prescriptions because they got anxiety and depression? Two core symptoms of when your dopamine drops. So that's one aspect of the psychology that we need to address. We need to say, look, the food is causing the depression. Not our behavior, not that we don't pound the fuckmaster enough, not any of those things. The kinds of foods we eat are causing this depression and anxiety. It's really that simple. And the only way you can find out if that's the cause of your shit is to fix it. Not an easy task if you're far down the rabbit hole, because it requires a damn lot of willpower at first. You know, it does. But I'm here to tell you, as a sugar addict myself, who suffered from massively soul-crushing depression and, you know, remarkably manic fucking highs, you know, now that I'm getting off the roller coaster, it's jumped out at me, and I want to share that with all of you. And that's kind of what I've been doing here. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is society's, you know, general mental image of how we should look, and also our own, you know, what should we look like? our own vanity or our own desire to attract the opposite sex, all of these issues with how we look. A lot of people get into the weight loss realm not because they're worried about fucking dying a slow, painful death at the end of their life, or spending shit tons of money on prescription drugs to keep themselves alive as they hit middle age on into old age. No, they want to look good so they can fuck. Well, that is a bad reason for weight loss. And it can lead you down the road to further mental illness and eating disorders. Because I can tell you now, I want to read this message that inspired this whole topic for me, from one of my patrons on Patreon. He's called LVM. Let me make sure all this is up and running here. All right. LVM wrote, "How about the subject of coming to grips with the actual weight change experience from a psychological aspect? Like for someone who was overweight for so long, there's a strange psychological self-image reconfiguration that happens that's pretty strange to articulate. Coming from 260 pounds to 180 pounds, pretty close to the same journey. I haven't got down to 180 yet, but I was 186 this morning. I often can't get it through my head who I am from a physical standpoint. Almost like I'm existing in a vehicle, the body, that transitions and changes not in sync with my mind. It's weird." And that's a true story. We don't ever stop being fat in here. When I look in the mirror, I don't see the thin guy I am. Everyone around me tells me it, but I still see every flaw, every fucking ounce of body fat on my body. I'm aware of it, so I don't let it, trigger me into disorders. I use metrics to determine my progress, and I use health as my goal, not how I look. And that's very important, because one of the pitfalls that can happen when you're doing what, we do with intermittent fasting and, weight loss in general, if we're doing it for the reason of aesthetics, for we want to look good so that people think we look good, that will lead you down the road. It's a self-esteem issue. And that is arguably not, nutrition related. That is a psychological thing that should be addressed. For me, I look in the mirror and I see the fat guy I've always been. Even though I know intelligently I'm not. But psychologically, I don't see the progress. People tell me when I look thinner, that I look younger, that I look, that I'm doing great. I'm looking, and I look in the mirror and I see an old fat bastard just like I always did. It's weird. It is. You don't really connect with how you look once you lose the weight. And you notice the flaws before you notice the virtues. And it's a slippery slope. And a lot of people can look at those flaws and not realize how far you've come and say, fuck it, and go out there and just say, all right, I tried, but I still fat, so I might as well just fucking eat everything, might as well. The hell, I tried, didn't work. When it did work, we just have a hard time seeing it. And that is a very true mental thing that I myself have dealt with. I still see the fatty liver. It's there. It's measurable. A little bit, almost there. I'm pretty much of touching the goal regularly now. I'm still bouncing back up. But like I said, once I am consistently below 36 inches, which is still the upper end of health. Normal BMI for me is 184 pounds, and I think I was 186 this morning. So I'm using those metrics to gauge when I arrive. Because I know if I just use my fucking eyeballs, that I'll never feel like I've become thin and healthy enough. And we need to have that end point. We need to be able to say, okay, it's time to shift to weight maintenance. It's time to make sure we do not get rid of all of our body fat and go into complete starvation and hurt our health the other way. That is the difference between anorexia and fasting. Fasting is an intentional, targeted activity, and we generally recover healthily afterwards and eat plenty afterwards without minding calories. And that's one of the pitfalls of counting calories in my book, is the whole anorexia thing. You know, people will just eat a smidgen of the calories they need for the day, which will tank your metabolism and make it even worse, to the point where you just can't fucking eat without gaining weight. You know, and so yes, there is a disconnect, LVM. You know, is that you in the comments, Mac? I'm not sure, because sometimes your YouTube chat names don't match up with the Patreon names. But so let me know if you're here, LVM. But you know, it's that mismatch that can drive us down the path to an eating disorder. Now, I want to also address binge eating disorder, since it's an official fucking disorder. And it's really not. It's a hormonally driven behavior. When you are consistently dieting and consistently not eating, and you will notice this if you do long fasts, that you will be prone for binging if, and only if, you are eating the standard American diet, particularly carbs and sugar. If there are carbs and sugar in your diet, and you do a 72-hour fast, 5-day fast, 30-day fast, and you go back to eating carbs and sugar, i.e. the day after you're fucking done, you are going to ravenously be hungry. And even if you're ketogenic, you are still going to be hungrier when you break your fast. Your body knows you starved. Your body knows you took nothing in for a lengthy period of time. And it's going to try and ramp up hormonally your hunger. And you, after 72 to, 96 hours, give or take, it has also lowered your metabolism. You'll know if you feel cold, if your energy level drops, that kind of shit. You'll know when your metabolism's dropping. So what your body has done in response to the long fast is drop your basal metabolic rate. That's the energy that you're fucking burning while you're sitting on your ass. And when it's jacking up your hunger so that you eat more, so that you aren't full as quickly. Initially, you'll get full because of the stomach shrinkage, but that doesn't last very long. And if you're eating sugar and carbs, you're going to gain almost every pound you lost during the fast back. It's the same for eating a low-calorie diet. The Minnesota starvation experiment was a very low-calorie diet. It wasn't fasting. 1,500 calories a day the motherfuckers ate. That sounds like a fucking low-calorie diet to me. And they very well entered the starvation zone. Their metabolisms tanked. They became mentally fucked up. One of them even gnawed off one of his own fucking body parts. You can look all this shit up. That's how powerful our brains and hormones are when it comes to how much we eat, what we eat, when we eat, how much we exercise, how much we feel energy, how much we're ready to go, or how much we want to stay on the fucking couch. All hormonally driven. Depression, anxiety, stress, all hormonally driven. Our self-image is a psychological thing. And that is based on our experiences, on how people have looked at us and how they look at us now. And when you go through a personal transformation, you're going to be the last person to really see it. The people around you are going to see it, and they're going to let you know that they saw it. Some people who may have treated you like shit because you were fat to begin with will start to actually treat you better based solely on the fact that you've lost the weight and you look good. You know? I contend that those people should go fuck themselves, because that's not why you should like or be attracted to someone in my book. But be that as it may, it is a confidence booster, which is the other issue you got to address when you are, sitting there deciding whether or not you have improved. When you're looking in the mirror and you're just not connected to the fact that you've lost the weight, that you're not really enjoying the fruits of your labor as far as the fact that you lost weight, because you still see the same fat motherfucker in the mirror. Same guy. So I hope LVM this answers your question. He is the one in the chat room too, which is cool because you're the one that asked the question that had me on this topic to begin with. So what do I suggest you do about it if you have psychological eating issues? Well, you need to go, but first, watch my addiction video, because I do cover this extensively in that, but I'm going to give a little crash course here, just, a smaller version of it. You need to get the addictions down. There's two ways to do that. Wean yourself down, I would argue a keto adaptation is a good first step in quitting sugar and alcohol. Although alcohol is a hard one to give up, because you can still technically drink hard liquor and remain in a ketogenic state afterwards, not while you're actually drinking. But, starting to treat the hormonal issue, and you will find the emotional issues will fall in line eventually. And if you don't believe me, you can take 6 weeks out of your life and prove me wrong. If you go full on keto with no cheat days, no alcohol, and you wean down your addictions or transfer them to something that is maybe a little more healthy than drinking and sugar, then you will see the changes in your emotional state. Be looking, and at first it's going to suck all the hell. You're not going to like it. But over time, you'll start to notice, if you are observing, if you are being self-aware, thinking about how you felt before versus how you feel right now, which I've been doing regularly lately, you will start to notice how manipulating your hormones is helping your emotional state, and how the foods that we choose to consume influence our mental health. And they do. I have no doubt at this point, because I've experienced it now. When I got rid of this shit, my emotions leveled the fuck out. I'm not too happy. I'm not too miserable. I'm like right in that nice little gradual fucking calm sweet spot. I still get a little agitated from time to time. I get a little stressed. Ironically, I was very stressed in a very stressful situation yesterday with a photo shoot, because I always get stressed out at big photo shoots like that, because I don't want to fuck up. I don't, want to come out of it without good pictures. So I kind of, thought I would be a lot more stressed, and it turns out I just focused. I was fasted too. That helped. I hyper-focused. I did get a little stress going into it, but it wasn't anything like it used to be. It wasn't nearly as potent. And it's like turning down the fucking volume on all these emotions. When you eat lots of sugar and you drink and you're constantly spiking your reward center, not just necessarily with that, but with any addictive behaviors, when you're constantly pounding on that dopamine, when you get triggered with stress and you get triggered with anxiety and you get triggered with depression, you are going to, it's like having the volume fucking cranked way the fuck up on all of that. So yes, I do agree that helping treat the emotion and breaking the vicious cycle, which I would argue started with our nutrition and just influenced our behavior and our emotions through our biology. But our experiences haven't helped either. There's a lot of bad shit that happens to us nowadays. And I would argue there's a lot of social media influences. There's a lot of mainstream media news. There's a whole lot of outside things that trigger our stress, our depression, our anxiety. I'm not disputing that. What I'm saying is our nutrition determines our volume, our level that we react to that shit. When I get bad news, I get a little sad now. When something doesn't go my way, I get a little upset. When something big's coming down the line, I get a little nervous. When I'm sugared up and drinking and in fucking hardcore, relationships and all of that, and I do these things, something bad happens, I get fucking upset. I get miserable. I don't want to get out of fucking bed. I get sad. I even fucking cry. When I get something that I'm worried about, I get stressed. I get anxious. I get fucking physical symptoms of stress. Or I just randomly go fucking manic and I just fucking, have all this energy and free thought and think I'm on top of the world and shit. This is the roller coaster I've stepped off of. The bad influences in your life still happen. The bad shit still comes. But I would argue our nutrition and how often we fucking trigger our addiction pathway, the way we manipulate our hormones biochemically, determines the volume, determines how powerful these fucking symptoms are. Depression, anxiety, anger, stress, fucking all of that. Hormonally driven shit. But we can mediate how bad it gets. We can tone it the fuck down. And a lot of the fucking medical industry wants to pill your ass up to do that. They want to give you all kinds of fucking drugs. All kinds of fucking drugs. To block dopamine, to upregulate serotonin, to manipulate things that all you really have to do is just change your lifestyle and make changes in your diet to turn down the volume on the things that trigger these things. They're going to get triggered. And that's something you can address with lifestyle changes. I've chosen to do so by adopting a minimalist lifestyle, by getting out of the corporate world and working on my own. Not an easy feat. That's a stressful thing to do because you don't know where your next meal's coming from. But manipulating those circumstances would not have been possible had I not done the nutritional journey that I've been on. So I would argue that my manipulation of my diet, my weight loss, and my health has allowed me and opened the door for me to make the changes in lifestyle and self-improvement that I've done in other areas that I discuss on this channel. As far as minimalism and, finances and doing things I'm passionate about and taking more time, freeing myself from the shackles of corporate slavery and relationship slavery in that matter, and getting out there and experiencing life the way we should be. And the further down this journey you go, the less emotional eating you'll need to do. All right, that was a nice, cheerful fucking topic. So I think LVM or LMark or LMAC, I think you're the only one here, so I'm going to go ahead and go through some of your chats, and we can just talk for a little bit. For those of you who are watching this later, you can see my Patreon in the link below. $1 a month gets you the blog and a patron-only live stream, just like this one, where you too can join me in chat. And because there'll only be, there'll be a lot less people there than there are on YouTube, you'll be able to actually fucking chat with me. So I'm going to open the floor to L Mac. I'm going to start by reading the comments he's already put up, and we'll see. And I'm going to comment on each one, so don't flood me with stuff yet. LMAC, and we will just kind of have a little chat and share it with everybody. So, all right. LMAC, hormones are crazy important. Carbs led to obesity, which pretty much made me lazy slave. Started fasting, power walking, jogging recently just for fitness. Total opposite of what I used to be. And that's a true story. And as you've done this, you've improved your hormones. When you do fasting, when you do the ketogenic diet, you get your hormones more in balance, more lined up with the way they should be. And then you will feel more energized. I never used to fucking hike. I didn't ride a bike since I was a fucking kid to get around. Granted, I haven't done that a lot lately. I need to get my fucking bike back out there. But I've been hiking a lot more. I feel the urge to get up and go out and do things. When your hormones are out of whack because of the carbs and sugar, you're not going to be as motivated to do anything physical because your body is in, so let's slow it down mode. We're not getting the energy we need. Because even when you're eating carbs and sugar, when your hormones are fucked up, your cells still aren't getting the energy you need. You're still tired. You're still having energy crises regularly. You still need fucking naps. You want to sit and watch TV and play fucking video games is your default mental state when, this shit happens. And, that's kind of the power of our hormones and our biochemistry over us. That we sometimes are a little uncomfortable acknowledging that we're not 100% consciously at the wheel. So, LMAC, 100% last drink I had was 3 January 2017. Plan to go back Christmas period. Totally revolutionary. I agree. It's been, 4 weeks now since I had my last drink. And I haven't looked back. And I quite honestly, because I feel so good, because I feel so level and so balanced, I am very cautious now about fucking that up. And I know if I go and get fucking hammered, that I could completely derail all of that and be back. Because the minute you start doing this shit, I contend even a cheat day can throw you way to fuck off. Which will fine because I'm planning on cheating a little bit during my vacation. So I'll let you know what happens there. But it's, even a little bit straying off of it seems to be enough to really knock you off that level, emotional level. So let's see here. LMAC. You get the inner calmness and being in touch with your body, acknowledging your breathing, heightened sense, etc., feeling self-reliant, not taking in food, pretty mentally powerful and empowering. So yes, you do. I am more calm. Things that used to trigger me don't. So I guess that's a side effect I really didn't acknowledge there is that yes, there are these things in our environment that can be very triggering. And I still do get triggered, particularly about health shit lately. But there are things that in the past may have sent me down the spiral. Like, for example, the date that fell through on me. That, in the past, would have sent me into a fucking depression like no tomorrow. This time, didn't skip a beat. And I liked her, too. I wanted to really pursue something with her. But didn't skip a beat. And if that, to me, knowing my personal history of when shit like that happens is a huge sign that I've come a very long fucking way. So, LMAC, and I see Paul Smart. Paul Smart, welcome. I'm trying to go through the chat, so keep it slow so I can keep up, one by one and chat with you guys a little bit till the end of the video, and hopefully you guys trigger me to say some more cool shit. So, anyways, LMAC, if it weren't for fasting and going keto, wouldn't have made a recovery from a crazy hard breakup with a girl I was serious with, went full self-improvement focusing on business, life, and health. LMAC, I agree completely, and that's kind of where I've been at, ever since Sugar Walls dumped my ass, however long ago the fuck that was. And it left me with this big open space in my life that I'd already started down this self-improvement path and was looking into minimalism and doing all of that. But once I got off that dopamine ride, it opened me up to be able to improve my life that much more. I was able to make the fucking changes necessary without anybody fucking with it. It was all up to me. No one else had a fucking say, and they still don't today. The choices I make are not based on what'll make someone else happy anymore. The choices I make are what will make my life fucking better, what will make me feel calm, normal, content. That's what I'm working on. Wouldn't be possible had I stayed in that relationship, and I thank her for that. For getting rid of my ass was probably one of the better milestones that has led me to where I am today. And if I look at it that way, it's hard to be depressed about it. You know, it's what had to happen, now that I think about it. If this wouldn't have happened, I'd still be on the fucking roller coaster. And I probably wouldn't be able to go full keto, wouldn't have been able to quit drinking efficiently. There would have been all kinds of stress and shit involved in my life, all kinds of depression shit, all kinds of shit that comes in relationships. Not that I'm saying all relationships are like that, just most of mine. And I wouldn't have gotten where I'm at today. And I do believe I would not have achieved my health goal of 36 inches around the waist. And I definitely wouldn't have achieved the goal of being a minimalist, living out of the corporate world, giving up a $60,000 a year job to make maybe $200 to $300 a week tops between all of my business ventures, and keeping my living expenses low enough to do that. Name me a relationship that's conducive to that. So I agree, definitely it helped. And hopefully someday I meet some woman who's on board with what I'm doing, that wants to come on to this, ride that I'm on, that wants to get better, that wants to get off of that shit. But I'm not keeping my hopes high in that department. I'm not noticing a lot of people really invested in improving their lives and cutting out a lot of the shit that we've been doing that is pretty much the practice dogma of the day. Paul Smart writes, I've had a problem with mad hunger in the past couple of weeks. I'm ADH and keto, or you mean ADF, I assume, Paul? And have been for ages. Never used to get hungry. Could do a 3-day, no problem. Now I get mad hungry on fast days. I would ask, okay, I'm going to read your other comment too. I've also stopped the booze, switched from beer to red wine, now nothing. Anyways, with work all week, with lots of drinking going on, but zero for me. Feel better for it. So, you're going to notice there are going to be times when you will be hungrier, even on keto, because that's what your hormones are going to want to do. It's not a bad thing. It generally means that somewhere you increased the energy that you've expended throughout the day. Either you're doing something more physical, whether it's your job or whatnot, or maybe you were just busy. I really contend that you probably weren't sitting on your ass when this happened. You probably did something very physical or had a very physical day. For example, yesterday was my fast day. I was very physical. I went hiking during the day, and then I did a photo shoot for a yoga school or class, yoga class or business or something. And, I was very physical. I was crawling around, fucking getting down low angles, climbing on shit, running around the room, all while it was sweaty hot and shit. I was really fucking, working out. I was sweating during it. Wasn't hungry the whole fucking day either. Might have got a little bit of a hunger pang when I got home later that night at 1:30 in the morning. Had tons of energy, tons of mental clarity, was on top of the world in that department. Today is my eating window. I noticed I was hungry. I didn't get full as quickly. Despite eating eggs, bacon, butter, heavy cream, some nuts, some dark chocolate, 100% cocoa or whatever, cacao, however you fuck pronounce that, and I'm probably going to eat dinner tonight if I'm hungry. I'm not hungry right now because I ate all that shit. But when your hormones are working properly, your hunger levels will be based on your activity levels. If you pound the fuckmaster, you're going to want to eat more even on keto. The difference is you will get full appropriately on keto if you're doing it right, if you're consuming the proper amount of fat. So if you're not consuming the proper amount of fat, that could be an issue. So I would make sure you're getting enough fat when you eat, so that way your body knows that you're taking in enough. Because if you're just doing protein and all that and relying on your body fat, your leptin levels will drop and your brain will say, hey, motherfucker, keep eating. Whereas if you consume the fat, you're letting your body know, hey, we got all the fucking shit we need coming in. But the point is your hormones are dictating that. Whenever you feel hungry, you got to think hormonally. You got to think, what made me hungry? Was it the sugary cookie I ate yesterday? Was it the alcohol that I drank today, which can have an effect if you drink? Or did I just fucking do too much physical activity so I'm hungrier? And don't be afraid to eat appropriately. The object of keto is not weight loss. That's what fasting's for. The object of keto is to get your hormones normalized so that you get hungry when you do a lot of activity or you feel satiated whenever your activity level's low. This is why you don't have to go to the gym if you don't want to. Because your hormones are doing their job. If you sit on your ass all day, you'll burn a lot less energy. If you go to the gym, you're going to burn more energy and hence be hungrier. Same thing. Alrighty. Elmark wrote to Paul. Good on you, Paul. The longer the fast, easier I find it. First 3 days is pretty rough. First 3 days is always rough when fasting. That's not going to go away. I'm finding, it's a little easier now with keto than it used to be, that 72-hour mark, but 36s are no problem now. I have no problems with 36. I used to struggle with 36s on the standard American diet, but now that I'm fucking keto and fat adapted for the most part, I feel, because my energy levels have been on point. So, yeah, definitely the more you do it, the easier it gets, and the more healthy your diet is, as in keto, the easier the fasting gets. Paul Smart. My wife's doing 16 and 8 in keto now. It's something you can share. That's true. I do have some friends that are getting on board with this. I'm coaching a couple people here in real life on trying to get, motivated. And at least one of them I know is being very successful with it so far. And she wasn't, she didn't have a lot of weight to lose. She was doing it for the emotional benefits that she actually said she noticed in me. She's known me a while. So she kind of noticed the change in how I carry myself and the things I'm saying and all of that, and my reactions to various fucked up things that happen in my life that have mellowed out a lot and changed a lot. And she noticed that and wanted to get those benefits for herself without the medication she's been having to take for all of these mental issues. And it's working. She's noticing a change, and that every change that she notices in herself seems to drive her further into wanting to keep doing this. Because once you get hooked on the changes, once you acknowledge they're there and you see them and you feel them, you're gonna want to hold on to that shit. Especially if you're self-aware about it. Especially if you realize how you used to feel and how you feel today. Once you make that contrast and that connection in your head, you won't want to stray very far. And when you do stray, you're going to be ready to come back because you'll immediately see how that affects you emotionally and physically. So let's see here. Message retracted. I don't know what that was. Bloody hormones. Could have been more activity and more stress. I know normal hunger from 2 years of fasting, but this is different. Worried I've reduced my metabolism. I've noticed slight dip in energy. With longer fasts, you can make a dip in metabolism. That can be an issue too. But the longer you're on keto, the less of an issue that has become, because, if you look at my trend, since I've done long fasts and I know my metabolism's dropped, I've got the cold and the lower energy and all of that shit. It does level out and normalize. You just got to give your body time. You're going to go through peaks and valleys. You're going to go through plateaus, lengthy plateaus, and you just got to tweak here and there to get where you're going. It's not going to happen overnight, but don't be discouraged. The number one way to make this shit work is to keep at it, even when you're not seeing shit move, when you're not seeing progress. And you should always be kind of evaluating why you're not seeing progress. What did you eat that wasn't part of the diet? What activities have you done that have possibly derailed your hormonal system? How have you tanked your metabolism, and how can you boost it? And the secret with keto to keeping your metabolism up is actually to eat when you are hungry and eat without worrying about it. And the reason for that is if you overconsume the fat and proteins associated with keto, your fucking hormones will actually switch the other way. There's research that shows when you eat more calories than you need, that your metabolism goes up. Not so with sugar and the standard American shithole diet. I'm talking keto here. If you overconsume on keto, your metabolism will rise on its own. Your basal metabolic rate, the energy you burn sitting on your ass, will rise. Your energy level will rise. If you are experiencing dips in energy, you might just not be eating enough. And we're so scared to eat enough because we're fat and we don't want to go back to being fat. And I know from experience, it's really difficult to get fat on a ketogenic diet. You are got to really be fucking force feeding yourself at that point. It is very important when you are doing keto and fasting that on your eating windows that you eat to satiety. You eat enough. If you're hungry during your eating window, you eat until you are full in your eating window, even though it may seem like an obscene amount of food. And you may even retain a little water and gain a little weight during that. But it's very important during your eating window, when doing fasting and keto, not with the standard American diet, that's a whole other ballgame, to eat until you are full, until you are satisfied. Once you're getting enough or more than enough calories, the energy will come. You will want to get out and burn off this energy. You'll be driven to hormonally. It's weird how it works because your leptin levels will go up because you overate. You maybe put on and stored some of the fat you ate. And guess what happens? Your body says, whoa, well, leptin's back up. Time to go pound a fuckmaster. Let's go. I'm ready. Come on, fuckmaster time. Or you go and ball your old lady for fucking 3 hours and you're good. That's kind of how the body works. It tricks you into fucking spending or reducing energy. So. All right. Let's see. All right. Paul Smart continued. Ha ha ha. I do occasional 5K run. No pounding the fuckmaster. I eat shitloads of fat. So you shouldn't be, if you're over, I still don't see how you would be having an energy dip if you overconsume energy, because it's been my experience when I overconsume that in the days following the overconsumption, I have an excess level of energy. I even have that today, kind of, so. And that was even after expending a lot of energy yesterday. But like I said, I've been eating my ass off all day, too. So. All right. Yeah. Elmark, bro. I agree on relationship stuff. Touched on bittersweet. Wouldn't have improved so much if I didn't end. So how do we get over seeing your only imperfections while people compliment progress? You just gotta realize that you're there, and enjoy it. Enjoy the health benefits. Enjoy the wins. They're there for you to see. And it doesn't have to be physical appearance. It has to be health. It has to be how you feel, how you are, the improvements to your happiness and well-being. The fact that you are not sick. You are not having to take naps all the time. You are not low energy all the time. That you've gotten off the emotional roller coaster that everyone around you is still on. And you just got to sit back and look around and say, look at how much better I've become. Also looking back at the way you used to feel. Not the way you used to look. The way you used to fucking feel. The way you used to picture yourself. And that's still there. You still picture yourself the same fucking way. But you need to look past that and look deeper into how you felt. How your quality of life was. Your energy levels. How often you were sick. How often you had allergies. How often you evaluate your overall how you felt then versus how you felt now. And you'll find such a stark contrast, as I have, that you'll be able to appreciate that without worrying about appreciating your own aesthetics. Other people are going to do that. It's subjective anyway. Your opinion doesn't fucking count in how you look. Did you know that? No one gives a shit how you feel about how you look. It's subjective. The people around you are going to think what they're going to think regardless of your opinion of yourself. Although you can lose confidence if you don't have a high opinion of your aesthetics. But I argue not to give a shit. I don't give a fuck. I know I'm not the greatest looking motherfucker in the world, and I don't give a shit. That's the key. Who gives a shit how you look? I don't. And that is very freeing. When you don't care, what's there to worry about? Keep an eye on your health and how you feel. And that should be a dictator, as far as how, happy you are with your progress. It should be about making yourself feel better, improving your quality of life, improving your emotional stability, improving your lifestyle, and so on and so forth. These should be the goals. Never let other opinions be the reason, because a lot of people don't even fucking believe what we're doing anyway. I've run into that a lot in the past week or two of people that just don't get it. And, you got to stop caring about that shit, because they're not going to be on board, with what we're doing until they decide that what they've been doing sucks and decide they want an alternative. No matter how much you tell them and show them that you've done all of this, they aren't going to buy it because they're still stuck in that cycle. So don't let them fucking do that. So, all right. Wow. All right. Sorry. I'm getting overwhelmed a little with all the chat. Let me check up here. All right. At Paul Smart, Elmac Road, we need to run Patreon initiative to have Scott pound the Fuckmaster for a month or something. I am not going to pound no Fuckmaster. I might eventually transition when I am, done with the weight loss phase and in the maintenance phase. I might try to recomp and put on a little bit of muscle by doing body weight exercises and so on and so forth, but I'm not going to be a bodybuilder. I do not want to dedicate years of my life in the gym to try and build muscle. Endurance I can build just by doing my normal hikes, carrying gear. That's fine. As long as I can do the things I like to do. That's the exercise I need. I don't want to spend any more time than necessary physically training. I don't need to. Most of my job is sedentary. I don't need to be a big physically fit motherfucker. I'm also not trying to get my dick sucked on the regular anymore. It's not a thing for me anymore. I got bigger priorities. That's why they made porn. So, it's not a goal from that aspect of it. It's not a goal from the health aspect because I feel healthy as it is. My energy levels are on point. I'm able to do physically all the things I want to do. I'll be a little bit short of breath in some cases, which means I just need to do the things more often than I do, and train carrying weights and stuff while I'm hiking. But that's it. Going to the gym to pound the fuckmaster just so I can get a little bit bulge and fucking gains and shit, not on my list of shit to do. So, welcome, Jason. Good to see you here. Let's see here. Oh man, Jason, shoot the shit with a favorite motherfucking asshole. Yep, that's what I kind of like doing these Patreon podcasts, so we kind of just get to hang out and bullshit, you know. So it works. Let's see. How far behind am I? I'm falling like a page behind here. So I'm going to try and breeze through these some so I can catch up. Jason, where I work, there is so much fucking shitty food being offered all day long. Every day someone has an excuse for a part. Yeah, I work for the government. Yeah. I said, I think party, you meant. Yeah. Excuse for a party. Yeah, I think I work for the government. Yeah, that's a minefield. Socially, we're fucked, you know. It's not an easy environment because everything is food-centered socially. And it's intentional. It's how we keep addicted. And you'll see sugar all over that shit. Sugar everywhere. We're about to have Halloween, the biggest fucking sugar holiday of all time. My favorite holiday, by the way, but I haven't forgotten the fact that that's probably how we get our kids back into that dopamine cycle, you know. And it's just crazy. It's so hard. How do you change people's minds about this shit when that is our social environment? So we just got to we got to start being like the vegans, I think. We got to start being assholes about our diet and be like, nope, I can't eat that. It had animals and shit in it. Well, we got to say, nope, I can't eat that. It has fucking sugar in it. Sugar's going to fucking kill you. You should fucking, you know, be ashamed of yourself for eating that fucking sugar. We should start acting like the vegans do and be like, look, you know, this is not healthy. You're not being healthy, motherfucker. Of course, we won't have a lot of friends at that point, but it is what it is. We just got to be more insistent. We got to be like, and we're armed with the tools necessary to do this. We got to be like, look, I'll just fast my way through this shit. And you're going to have to tell like 20 different motherfuckers, I'm not eating, I'm fasting. I'm not eating, I'm fasting. I'm not eating, I'm fasting. And then half of them motherfuckers are going to be like, why are you doing that? And you're going to have to go through the whole spiel. You should even have a spiel, you know, prepared to answer that fucking question when you go to a party. You know, and somebody's offering you shit, and you're like, oh, I can't do that, I'm fasting. You know, some of them are going to think you're religious, some of them are going to think that you're just fucking got an eating disorder, some of them are going to think that you're fucking crazy. You know, there's all kinds of responses you're going to get. You just got to be just headstrong, fast your way through it, eat before you go. That's a big help, too. Have a big fucking keto meal right before the event. Then you could just walk around, tell them, say, no thanks, I already ate. Motherfucker. You know, that's kind of the approach you have to take to these social situations. You got to minimize the damage. You eat the shit out of a keto meal, and then you go out to dinner with somebody, you can get a fucking salad and be like, oh, I'm full, you know, because you just fucking ate. You know, you don't need to tell them that. You just say, oh, I'll just have a salad. And they might say you're being weird or you're not eating right, but little do they know you just ate a fucking, you know, quarter pound of fucking hamburger, you know, mixed with some cheese and some fucking hot sauce and shit. You know, you just got to prepare for the hostile social and food environments that we are thrust into all the time. So, all right, what else we got here? Paul Smart, great vid again, Scott. I'm in Sardinia this week and it's almost midnight, so I'm hitting the hay. Thanks for encouragement and advice. I think I was afraid of getting fat again. Good night. Paul Smart, just give it a try. Experiment. You can always fast it off if I'm wrong. You know, eat until you're full. You know, even though you think you might be eating more, or you might even put on a pound or two, because you do store the fat, the excess fat. But I contend that if you do that, your metabolism starts to ramp back up. And you will notice more energy. So your weight might spike initially, but no more than 1 or 2 pounds, or maybe a quarter or a half inch. And then you'll notice a rise in the energy. Elmax, Scott, are you planning on changing your weight loss goals once you reach your target? I figured I might as well go as far as I can on the fitness side of things. Why not when fasting is so easy? No. Once I get to my goal, it will shift to maintaining my lifestyle, maintaining my health. I will still fast. I will still do long fasts, but not with the goal of weight loss any longer. I will still keep an eye to make sure I'm not going back up. And if I see that I'm going back up, I know I'm doing something wrong and need to address that. But that's not the same as trying to push the needle, which is what you are doing with ADF and longer fasts, is you're trying to move the needle. Any fasting I do may be in recovery from the times when I do have a slight weight gain, that I do go back up. And I know those times will happen. And I know that there may be cheat days and days where I have to eat that fucking piece of cake that someone shoves in your face at a fucking party. And I will go and fast that shit back off and get right back on the horse. In this grand scheme of keto adaptation, 1 or 2 of those every couple months isn't going to fucking kill you. So, isn't going to knock you out of the adaptation. So it's kind of just, that's where I want to be at. I want to be comfortable, and say, I got here, now I'm going to stay here and enjoy where I'm at, instead of constantly pushing to become this big physical specimen. I'm 41 years old. I've been in and out of the relationship roller coaster, which would be the primary driver of physical fitness for most people. I feel healthy. I feel energetic. I'm able to do everything I want to do. I really have no motivation to push it to that next super fit bodybuilding motherfucker level. I have too much other shit I want to do with my time. Too many other pursuits. And as long as anything I do in the realm of health is going to be to allow me to pursue the things like going out camping, going out hiking, backpacking. These are all physical fucking activities. But they're not physical activities that require me to go to fucking, Planet fucking Fitness 10 times a week, or to do constant body weight exercises and all of that. I might do something like that from time to time. If I feel I need some more strength and some more endurance, I might train enough to get just enough endurance that I need, or just enough strength that I need. Right now, that's not the case. I haven't had something that I had to lift that I couldn't fucking lift, and carry. And to me, as long as I can do what I need to do, I'm fine. I don't need to be all swole up and shit. It's just not my goal. So the answer to that is no. Once I get to where I'm going, I'm just, the goal is going to be to stay there. And that should be everyone's goal. This is a lifestyle change, and you can't go back. You can't go back to the standard American shithole diet and keep your losses. So, Jason, but everyone who gets a job at my building gains a fuck ton of weight. I had in the past now, too. The food they eat, the bagels, desserts, cookies, breads, fucking sugar, starch, sugar, and more. Yeah, they're not going to notice. They don't even know. And one of the problems with that is all of the fucking propaganda that they're exposed to. Which reminds me, since we're here, we're still an hour and 8. It was going to be a long fucking live stream because I almost forgot I did this. While I was researching, I came across this. Let me get this up here. And let's make sure my audio's good. All right. Let me zoom in a little here. All right. I came across this on psychologytoday.com while researching the psychology behind obesity. And, it goes through all the statistics. Everybody's fucking fat, Here's the symptoms, your BMI, which is almost a fictitious figure in many cases because, there's some big swole muscle motherfuckers that fail the BMI. Your waist circumference, very important. I do believe in that one because it does have a direct correlation with whether or not you have fatty liver and where you're holding your fat, the majority of your fat. Anyway, a lot of people are lean and hold a lot of fat in the visceral fat And I believe that's a good indicator, and it should be less than half your height to be healthy, to where you're going to die in your 70s and 80s of the metabolic diseases that are killing people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s right now. And some kids and some 20-year-olds are now in this mess. So, you know, and of course, we got all the risk factors, high blood pressure, HDL, triglycerides. I've gone over all of this. This is not new shit for us. You know, we know what to look for now. We know keto is the way to treat all of this. We know fasting is also a very effective way of treating all of this. And the combination of the two are like better than any fucking prescription drug that they'll put on you on for diabetes, heart disease, cancer. We're dipping our you know, the tip of our penis into as we go too. So there's that. Causes. This is where I kind of this is where I got triggered on this article right here. Inactive lifestyle. Many Americans aren't physically fucking active. One fucking reason for this is that many goddamn people spend hours in front of the motherfucking TV and doing computer work and schoolwork and jerking off internet porn and, you know, all kinds of shit, and that's what's making people fat. No. 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 Fucking no. That is not what's making us fat. That is a result of our hormones slowing us down, taking away the motivation to be physical, because we're eating lots of sugar and carbs and vegetable oils and inflammatory shit that we can't really efficiently use for energy. So our bodies are starved, even when we're fat, and carrying around thousands upon thousands of fucking calories that we have no access to the point where it gets so out of whack that it's bypassing our fucking healthy cells and starving us, even though we're fat as fucking eating every 2 to 3 hours. And we got to take a fucking nap because we don't have enough fucking energy. So, you know, this is the kind of dogma that people are fucking saying is the truth. So, you know, environment. I do kind of agree with this one, but not the things they're talking about. Lack of neighborhood sidewalks and safe places for recreation. That's fucking bullshit. I can go wherever the fuck I want to go. There's plenty of places me to walk and, you know, go out. But I have to want to do it. And I used to not. Now I do. That's the difference. That's our brains are very subtle in how they manipulate us to burn or save energy. Work schedules. That I agree with. As a former truck driver working 70 hours a week, it was pretty difficult to A, eat healthily, and B, get exercise. So I don't wholly disagree that our environment, and I do agree that our environment has led us here because our environment is the one pushing us to eat all these bad foods in excessive quantities and to make us want more of them by addicting us. So there's that I agree with. Excess food portions, that's a thing, but it's more in response to the fact that this is an addiction cycle and it requires more to get us up to feeling content for 10 minutes, and then we fucking drop down and we want to eat more. So the industry's idea is, oh, we're making money hand over fist, let's just give them more. So that way we force them to pay for all of this food that they really don't need, but they're hungry enough to fucking eat it, so we'll do it anyway. Lack of access to healthy foods. This is horrible too. Even the foods that are marked as healthy aren't necessarily healthy as shit. You know, vegetables are fucked up, all of that shit. I'm sorry, I'm getting off on this tangent, so if I miss the chat, that, you know, just let me finish and I'll get to it. Food advertising. It's everywhere. Everywhere. Even in places you're not really looking. It's hidden within movies and TV shows. It's all over the fucking news and their little health vlogs and all the fucking let's cook this and get healthy. We're getting healthy today. Well, we eat a little bit of sugar. It's only a little bit of sugar though. We're counting these calories and we're going to fucking Fountainass and we got fucking MyFitnessPal. Yeah. We're fucked. Environmentally. I agree with environmental causes of obesity because they're giving us all the bad food we need and encouraging us, socially to eat that way. Genes and family history. Disagree. Yes, we are genetically predisposed to insulin resistance. Why? Because we're not eating the way we're designed to be eating. Our hunter-gatherers didn't eat the way we do. Our ancestors, pre-agriculture, did not eat this way. And it takes a fuck of a long time for us to change our genetics in terms of this. Now, granted, there is the odd unicorn in the field somewhere that can eat carbs and sugar and be fine and maybe live to their 90s and 100s. Chances are you're not that unicorn, motherfuckers. So we need to eat according to what we're designed to eat if we want to be healthy. And the further we stray and the more we stray, the less health we achieve. Health conditions, hypothyroidism, Cushing syndrome, PCOS. I disagree with the PCOS because, God damn it, that is a symptom of metabolic syndrome and can be avoided if you're eating the right foods. I know nothing of Cushing syndrome or hypothyroidism, although I do know hypothyroidism is misdiagnosed 9 out of 10 times. So be careful with that if that's a thing. So I don't know what thyroid hormone they're talking about because there's different hormones that come from the thyroid, but we'll get to that. So I guess Cushing syndrome is adrenal fatigue and cortisol related. So I don't know. Look into those. But chances are the majority of people aren't really suffering from genetic disorders when it comes to food. It's environmental and it's correlative over the past 40 years with the change we've made in our diet. So, medications. That's true. You start fucking with them meds, there are some meds that will fucking cause you to gain weight. Indisputable. You're fucking with your hormones directly with medications. You're inhibiting shit. You're making your fucking glands produce more of shit. You're blocking receptors. You're doing all of these fucked up things to your body, many of which have unintended and very harmful fucking side effects, and you're paying a fortune to do it. Not a big fan of this one, but a lot of these medications are brought to you by obesity, by the problem to begin with, by metabolic issues and damage caused by our diets from birth. Because this shit's been going on since I was born. I've been fed this way my whole life. Soda, fucking sugar, constantly from the cradle to the grave. Only the grave's getting there a lot quicker because we done fucked up the past 40, 50 years of our diet. We'd be better off if we went back to pre-1950 and the way we ate. You know, wouldn't be 100% healthy, but we might live to be 70s and 80s, like most of our grandparents have. Grandparents, I said, not parents. So, emotional factors. Subject to this thing. We've gone over that. Smoking. People gain weight when they stop smoking. That's called addiction transfer. You still need the dopamine. You got rid of the smoking. Guess what? A lot of people turn to food. It's a thing. It's addiction transfer. Talked about it previously. Age. Age. Do you really think this is a thing? Now, a lot of people are going to say, yeah, I got fatter when I got older. No. There are people of all ages enduring these metabolic diseases now, from the cradle to the fucking grave. So, pregnancy. No shit. Of course you're going to gain weight during pregnancy. You're eating for 2 and you want to store enough energy for 2. Sleep. I'm iffy on this one. I haven't found sleep, or lack of, because I've done both, to cause any significant weight gain or depletion. So, yeah, treatments. So, you see kind of the misinformation that is out there under the guise of fucking normal fucking advice for people. And you just got to understand how fucked we are with that shit. All right. Sorry, I went off on a long tangent there, but I did have that one planned at one point. So I'm going to scroll down a little here. Yeah, goals have been different. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Every goddamn day has no temptation for me, not anymore. That's good, Jason. That means you're it's working. You'll notice when you get there that you do have less temptation. You do get there a lot better, a lot easier. So let's see here. What else we got? Sorry, I'm reading through, skimming a little bit so I can get caught up. LMAC wrote, ha ha ha, going live is definitely your calling, man. Keto has gone mainstream enough. Fasting is picking up. What are your thoughts on fasting going mainstream like the vegan diet? Keto is going mainstream. I even saw an ad today for a keto supplement, and it caught my ear. I wasn't even watching TV. I heard it in another room. And I got up and was like, oh, I got to see that because I have a funny feeling it's going to trigger me. And it did. They're monetizing things you can do on your own. And it is spreading slowly. But we're going to change that. We're going to get it out there. We're going to get everybody on fucking board. That's the goal for my channel. Spread the word. Taste the rainbow and shit. So... Elmac, I like your zen and contentment. Thought inspiring. I'm trying to move myself over to minimalism, not hardcore, but just be more mindful of what I truly require, like you mentioned, cell phone upgrades, etc. And that's true. That'll help you environmentally feel better. It'll help you you'll have less stress, you'll have to work less to pay for the things you have. You can move yourself into a smaller space that costs less and free up the most important resource for health, mental health, and that's time. Time for relationships, meaningful relationships, and time to live your life. To not just live to go work and watch TV. Or surf the fucking internet or stare at your phone all day. There's other shit in life that we're meant to be experiencing that we don't because we're so busy working to pay for shit we don't need. But that's a whole other topic that we'll address in a future fucking video. Let's see here. My response was supposed to be one long paragraph. Didn't realize you're only around 200 words. Apologies if I sounded confusing because I had to break it up in 3 spaces. Yeah, it said message retracted. I'm not sure what message you're talking about, Jason. Let's see here. I think I'm all caught up now, finally. Jason, ever since I've gone keto in the past and began losing weight, I could not believe how much cleaner my thoughts became. Keto or even low carb is fucking amazing. That's a true story. Fasting and keto will clear your fucking thoughts up. You'll be able to think things through in a clear manner. I do not know that it would be possible for me to do the things I do on this channel, to do the research I do, to sit here and talk for an hour and 23 fucking minutes like I have been. I couldn't do this if I was on fucking sugar and carbs right now. I'd be stumbling all over myself. I wouldn't be able to have my trains of thoughts as easily unless I was in that manic phase I described before, which I would argue is still leads me to trail off into these places that maybe aren't as productive. Do I miss the highs? Sometimes, sometimes it would be nice to get back up to that level of energy and thought and speed of thought. But that also came with soul crushing lows and just numbness in general and not being able to think, which I hate. I get frustrated when I can't think straight, when I can't figure shit out or can't get where I want to go, mentally. It frustrates me. So I've been taking care to try and keep myself sharp, on point, keep myself being able to discuss things intelligently, keep myself being able to keep up with all the research, all the comments, and all of that for this channel. And I don't know that it would be possible if I was fucking eating sugary shit all the time. And in the past, I was able to pull off 1 video a week. I have tripled my content thanks to quitting my fucked up job and doing more of this and all of my creative endeavors and my 3 businesses, which are all small and piddly income-wise compared to trucking, but have allowed me the time to flourish here and continue to grow this. And you guys have been an integral part of that on Patreon. I mean, you guys are pretty much paying half the bill right now between ad revenue, which I could lose at any fucking time, and you are allowing me to dedicate shit tons of time to where I'm not out running Uber. Like, I'm confident now that this month, because of your guys' contributions and the fact I haven't lost my ad revenue, that my bills for the month are covered. I have money to eat with. I have a roof over my fucking head. I can maintain the vehicle. That's going to be a pain in the ass in the coming months because I got to put tires on the motherfucker. But, so I'm going to have to step up some income level on other areas of my life. But you guys have pitched in and helped me get this channel to where it is. You've kept me accountable so that I don't fall off the wagon. And accountability is a good thing. If you do not have an accountability partner, someone who's going to say, hey, dickhead, you're fucking up, you might very well fail. And I would probably have failed if not for the accountability partners I have on YouTube with all of you and all my subscribers. So I really just want to thank you guys for keeping me on the point, because I don't know that I would have got here without you guys. I really don't. I probably would have given up and stayed in that fucking cycle I was in, doing the same stupid shit over and over again, working for shit tons of money and being miserable, and really waking up and this being a driving goal for doing that. I got to thank you guys for that. So, all right. Well, Scott, I have to admit, Jason wrote this. Your older videos are really hilarious. Ha ha ha. I guess. But I've definitely changed since the old trucking videos. I've definitely become more activist-like in my health pursuits and shit. I'd like to think I've maintained most of my fucked up sense of humor, though. But we'll see. We'll see where we go from there. People seem to like me talking about this shit more than they like me doing those funny vlog videos and shit. So we'll see. I keep working those in. I like doing adventure videos. I like doing other content. But I don't want to distract myself from what pays the bills, and that's fasting, keto, minimalism, and addiction and lifestyle, and basically addressing all of these things in our life which have derailed us for the past 40 to 50 years, that we need to get back on track to a nice, happier place than where you're at today, because the world's a fucking disaster today, and I'm changing my life and reaping the benefits, and I would like other people to be able to do the same, or at least know that it's an option. Let's see. Jason, Elmac, I've got serious Scott content backlog. Pretty neat. That's good. That way, whenever I take a vacation, motherfuckers have shit to watch. Although, I probably will preload some videos whenever I plan on taking time off. Except for the Disney thing. I think I'm just going to take that week off because I'll be filming while I'm down there. So that'll be my work contribution. Then you'll have a shit ton of videos after that to consume. And it's going to be partially, adventure vlog, but it's also going to be the food environment of going on a vacation like that, and, so on and so forth. So there'll be a little bit of both when I do that vacation. That's in November. I'm going to Disney. Hey, if any of you motherfuckers are in Orlando or in Florida and want to hang out at Disney, I'm game. Meet me by one of them fucking Disney rides or some shit. We can hang out, say hi, shake hands, take selfies and shit. So, just letting you know, from November 14th for like 5 or 7 days, I don't know how long I'm going to be there, but it's a week, I think. I'll be down there in Disney, hopefully not completely destroying my health in the process. I might be a little inebriated, though. Just saying. All right, Jason, I think it might be your very first video, the one where you talk about breaking your leg and while you were drunk. And at the end of the video, you're chowing on some Five Guys. That was pretty awesome. That was my first video, and I leave that video up even though it really doesn't serve any purpose other than, kind of give me a little history of, of how I was with YouTube, but also really showing just how far I've come from those days, where I was fat, didn't give a shit about it, had low energy, broke my leg because I was drinking, drinking fucking Mountain Dew and goddamn Gatorade, going to Five Guys and loading up, though I admit I still miss Five Guys most of it, but I still go there and eat the burgers without the bun occasionally, even though it's still probably not as healthy. But still, you can do it as a keto and just get the burger without the bun and no fries. No fries being the hard part of that. But yeah, I've come a long way, and I'm actually planning, when I am consistently below my 36-inch mark for a week straight, I will do a then and now video where I try and do all the same shit I did in that video, and kind of contrast it side by side, along with, of course, before and after body shots, so people can look at my fucked up loose skin and shit and, tell me, hey, I don't think you really lost all that much weight, or be critical, and all the nice things people do when you show body shots. So, let's see here. LMAC, fasting, something you see going mainstream, big food and big pharma, too big to allow. You know what? Big food and big pharma can go fuck themselves, because guess what? It's already out there. The knowledge is already out there. And if it does go mainstream, there ain't a goddamn thing they can do about it. They can't force you to eat. What are they going to do? Hold you down and say, hey, eat, motherfucker? No. All they can try and tempt, they can try and sell you on it. They can try and monetize it and say, oh, we got the ultimate fasting solution. We'll give you this fucking green shit water, and you can drink the shit water, and there's no calories in it, so you will lose fat more efficiently because we put this and this supplement in there and so on. Don't worry. Industry's already starting to think, how can we capitalize on this ketogenic diet and this fucking fasting, and we need to make money on this shit. All these fucking gurus have been making money with their goddamn books and their fucking bulletproof coffee shit. We need to get in on this before we get left behind. Trust me, it's in the works. When I see a goddamn keto commercial on the fucking Today Show in the morning, I know we're getting through, even though the Today Show's still on the fucking Eat Less, Move More bandwagon with fucking cookies and cakes and fucking pies and shit. All right. Jason Baccaro, my son just started school today. You know what really pisses me off? School lunches. They are absolutely horrible. I pack my son's lunch every day, and that is the only thing you can do. However, there's this thing that kids do when they get packed lunches. They will probably trade some shit. And if it's too healthy, they might just not eat it and eat the school shit anyway. It's really, really hard. That's probably the biggest obstacle to this is our kids, They're not, we give in to them. We don't discipline them. We don't try and control their diets. We try and make them make their own decisions. And we're so afraid to say, look, motherfucker, you're going to eat this and you're going to like it. Those days are gone. I remember those days. I had to sit at the fucking table all day till I ate my spinach. We don't have the stamina as parents anymore to make that shit happen, do we? When's the last time you made your kid eat some shit? And not gave him the sugar? And not gave him the soda? And not gave him the baked goods? And not gave him the candy? We're not. We're giving it to them like it's free. It's a reward for good behavior. We're triggering their addiction cycle while they're kids. And we're destroying their health in the process. And it's sad, I'm sorry, I'm not tearing up. I'm legit got a fucking cough. All right, it's probably because I'm not drinking water and I'm talking like nonstop for an hour and a half. But yeah, it's definitely we're not doing right by our kids. I see it a lot. I haul around a lot of college students, and I see how they're eating, and they're all consumed with the eat less, move more, but they're still eating all the bad shit. Even the ones that are trying to eat healthy are still, they're not eating enough. They're tanking their metabolism. They're drinking like fish, which we all did, yeah. And they're young, so they feel invincible. They don't know what it's like to have your health decline over time yet. And the problem is, our earlier generations were declining a lot slower than they are. Their health is declining faster than ours did because it's been on a curve. The progression of the fucked upness of our diet has increased over time throughout our lifespan. So we're lasting a little longer on the dietary changes, but they were born into it. They were born at, what is peak fucking diabetes and obesity levels. So they're going to get sick a lot sooner. A lot of these college kids I'm hauling around in the Uber, they're going to get sick in their 30s. They're going to have diabetes. They're already starting to show fatty liver signs. And they are completely oblivious to it. They try. Some are trying to be health-minded, but they're not doing it because of health. They're doing it for aesthetics. All the women want to be really thin. The men don't seem to give a shit, but they want to be buff and attractive and shit. They don't want to be fat. So they're doing things too, mainly in the gym. But they're all eating unhealthy, and they're all drinking a lot. So I can't fault them. It's how I lived my life at that age. But when you step back and you look back, it's, you're going to be that crotchety old get off my lawn motherfucker that says, look, we got to change it from down there if we're ever going to make a societal change. Who knows? Maybe we'll get there. I don't know. And, one of the things I think you can do is at an early age, make them, just make the same foods that you're eating, keto, all the time. That's all they can eat. They don't want to eat it, don't eat it. They'll eat. Remember them hormones I was telling you about? Sooner or later, that motherfucker's going to come downstairs and open the fridge, a fridge full of fucking keto safe foods, and they're going to eat. All right? They're going to eat. They aren't going to starve themselves to death because you didn't buy the fucking soda and the sugar and the bread and all that shit. They're going to look in the fridge, find the food that they hate the least, and they're going to be hungry enough to eat that motherfucker eventually. It's just how it works. Serve them the food, and you'll find that over time, they might start to like it. And another key is to not addict them to the shit in the first place. So if you got young children, stop addicting them. Start integrating healthier foods, whole foods. And you'll find that when you do that the kids actually prefer it. I've seen young 4-year-olds that would push away sugary shit in favor of fruits and vegetables. I'm not saying go full keto. You don't have to do that. I believe it's healthy. But you can give them fruit, vegetables, minimize the grains, minimize the carbs, and I'm telling you, if you get them in early, they're good. They're going to get fucked up in school, though. So you have to have it so that they like it so much that they don't like the processed foods and sugars, that it's too sweet or it makes them feel like shit so they don't eat it. And it will. If you're eating right and you eat that shit, you're going to feel like shit and you're going to not want to do it as much. It's a whole different ball game than when you're a carb burner and you're eating sugar. So, Paul Smart, my teenage daughter is keto now. We've thrown all the carbs out of the house. I lied about going to bed. Sorry, I don't mean to keep. I should probably end this soon. This has got to be the longest video I've ever done. We're at 1 hour and 38 minutes. So I lied about going to bed. She's mostly good when she eats out too. So yeah, that's cool if she gets on board. And if we get more young people to do this, then we're winning. That's the thing. A lot of my demographics are broken down on YouTube, and we're all in the older age brackets, 30s, 40s, 50s. There are some 25s, and some young folks too. But the majority of people that I find in my demographics on my channel are, you know, lower middle or upper middle age and some old age. There's not a lot of kids watching my shit. Granted, that's probably because I say fuck or whatever, but, you know, and there's not a lot of, you know, millennials and that kind of thing watching me yet. But it's going to spread because the information is out there, and when people see results are the drivers of change. And when people see that you're doing better, they want to know how you did it. Especially if you're doing better than they are. And you just keep telling them, this is what I'm doing. And show that you're happy doing it. Don't fake it. Because if you're not happy, change whatever's not making you happy. But if you're happy and you're healthy and you're doing all of these things, share that with people around you. Constantly. Remind them. Oh, yeah, this is why I'm not fat. You know, I was so fat before. I'm doing so much better now. No thank you on that cake. You know, just a little reminders. You know, don't be as hardcore as I am about it, because I can be a dick about it. But subtle reminders that you've come a long way and you want to stay. And sooner or later, more and more people will get on board with that. Elmac, notice how... Let's see. Wait, hold on. Paul Smart. My daughter is loving the effect of keto, losing weight, and better skin. That's important for a 16-year-old. And yes, I agree. If more and more of our kids did this, it would be awesome. But it's hard, you know, because we're undoing 40 years of dogma and how our kids should be eating. And they're getting exposed to the hostile food environment times 10 when they go to school, where they go out with their friends and do all of that. And they have to be almost vegan-esque in their passion for being a keto in this food environment. And when I say vegan-esque, I mean just being so fucking evangelical about it that you're just not going to put up with anybody telling you what to eat. That kind of shit. You know, and it's really hard to do that. You know, I find ketos aren't as passionate as vegans are when it comes to, you know, this is my diet. You better fucking, you know, stop trying to destroy my health. You know, a vegan's like, you're going to make me eat an animal? I'm going to punch you in the mouth. Whereas a keto's like, oh, I shouldn't. That bread, though. All right, no, I can't. I'm sorry. We're all polite about it. And I think we need to reduce that a little bit. I think we need to be a little more steadfast in our beliefs on what the fuck we're going to eat and what we're going to let people try and feed us. And I find that for some people in my life, me being steadfast has led to them changing the kinds of foods they offer me. And at the same time, you know, but it can be a social thing, because you got some friends who just aren't on board that try and pick, you know, social venues that will allow you to be comfortable too, while maybe sacrificing shit that they like to do. And you get in that whole gray social area. But I contend if you know how to fast, you can get through all of these situations and just kind of pick and choose your battles. All right. Let's see here. What else we got? I think I need to start wrapping this up. It's fucking an hour and 43 minutes into this. So I want to thank you guys for coming tonight. It was great hanging out with you guys in this smaller venue to where I can kind of keep up with chat and just bullshit with you guys. This is part of your contribution. You know, one of your rewards for contributing is being able to sit here, hang out, talk with me, get me going on these things. And I really appreciate all you guys are doing for the channel, allowing me to create content for everyone. Even this video will be shared out to everyone on YouTube once I sit down and keyword it and do all that shit. So I want to thank you guys for coming. As for tomorrow, there'll probably be a motherfucking vlog or something. I do need to do some Ubering tomorrow because I still got to make another $100 this week. And so that's what we got to do. For those of you who are producers and up, I encourage you to, throughout the days in the coming weeks, post questions like LVM did, or LMAC, whichever one name you want to go by. in the comments on Patreon. And if I find one that I kind of want to hone in on, I'm going to look there first before I go to the YouTube subscribers. Sorry, subscribers, but they're helping. So I want to give them the opportunity to trigger me more. That's not to say I won't find a YouTube comment in this realm, but I want to take one of your questions and comments or topics that you want me to discuss, that you want me to look into, that you want me to give my opinion on, and make targeted videos for those as part of the benefits of being a patron on Patreon, along with these live streams, along with the option for the upper tiers for Google Hangouts, where this is more of a one-on-one or even a live voice chat back and forth. I know I have a few people interested in being able to do that. For those of you not on Patreon, that is something that you get with the producer and up tier, is an opportunity to do a Google Hangouts. And we can even record it, and you can be in a video on YouTube, depending on your comfort level with that. But that's kind of the reward. I would love that, Jason's like, no, go to 3 hours. I can't. I don't have it in me. I'm struggling to keep my fucking voice up as it is. And plus, we don't want to take away from next week's live chat, because this is a weekly thing I'm trying to do now for my patrons, in addition to doing live streams for everyone a little more often than I have been. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for liking and subscribing and watching the ads and shit while they're still there, until Google gets pissed off that I say fuck too much. And for my patrons that have made this possible, thank you guys for keeping this going and keeping me sharp, because that's what you're doing. You're keeping me on my toes. You're making me think about shit. You're making me research shit that I might not have otherwise went and looked at. And that is the key to us keeping this movement going, this knowledge sharing going, this life improvement going that we're going through together. And I love that. I love that. The community that we're building here is awesome. This is a great community. It's better than a lot of Facebook communities, that's for sure. So thank you guys again. And for those of you who don't know me very well, remember, I'm not a fucking expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. Please like and subscribe for more motherfucking videos. And I will make more motherfucking videos and shit. Why isn't that showing? Motherfucker. That's not working. That's a fail. Let's try that again. Play. There we go. Now we got some fucking credits and shit. And, but thank you for coming, everybody. I'll talk to you guys next time. And shit. That's enough of that. Have a nice motherfucking day. And shit. As I try and put up my... I've noticed when I cut off the live stream, I have to wait a while or else it cuts off in the middle of shit. So, I'm just going to put up this rotating motherfucking logo. This fucking thing right here for a little while before I turn off the stream. It allows me to say goodbye in the chat too. So, have a nice motherfucking day and shit. You're still here. Show's over. You can go home now.